Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's technology webinar from Corporate Training Options. Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to be covering Microsoft Power BI, a really cool data analytics tool, and our guest speaker for today is the wonderful Gill Walker, who's going to walk us through Power BI and the capabilities of the software. On the right-hand side, there is a chat screen. If you wanted to just click the chat button down the bottom and open that up, please feel free to ask questions throughout the presentation, and we will answer those questions for you at the end of Gill's presentation. So thank you very much for joining us. I'm now going to hand over to Gill Walker, and thank you very much, Gill.
Thank you, Rosie, and hello and welcome, everyone. I am Gill Walker, and I am now going to switch to screen share so that you can see the slides that I have diligently prepared. So can people now see my screen? And more importantly, perhaps, can people hear me?
Yes, we can see your screen and we can hear you. Thanks.
Excellent. So, everything you have ever wanted to know about Microsoft Power BI in 10 minutes. So this is going to be a whistle-stop tour. Power BI is a business intelligence analytics service for mere mortals. In other words, it is a way of making data more accessible for end users. It allows end users with some understanding of the underlying data to generate interactive visualizations, which are dashboards and charts. They are interactive because within those dashboards and charts, we can drill down, we can see the data, and we can make changes to the data, and those changes will be reflected back into the visualization. It also has a nice, simple interface, which you will see later on. So it's not particularly difficult to learn the basics. It is definitely designed for end users, mere mortals. So why would we use Power BI instead of, let's say, Excel or any other data tool that perhaps we've used to date? First of all, it will handle vast quantities of data. Excel will handle a maximum of 1 million rows and 16,000 columns. That might sound a lot, and in fairness, it is a lot, but that pales into insignificance with Power BI. Power BI has a huge number of data connectors, and those connectors link you to your underlying data or data sets, and the data sets can be Microsoft or non-Microsoft, database, non-database, online, offline. Some examples of the data sets that we can use, or the data that we can use: SQL Server, and therefore Dynamics 365, which in turn runs on SQL Server. Oracle, MySQL, a database that's behind a lot of websites. Some of the non-database, we can use PDF files. We can do stuff with Flickr images. We can even work with Twitter messaging. And of course, we've got our good old friend Excel. Across all of those data elements or data sources that we can use, Power BI gives us security. So we've got a whole lot of data, but any one individual user can be prevented from seeing what they don't need to see. Or maybe we should phrase that, can be allowed to see only what they need to see. And that can be done at the row level. So we could have user 1 who's able to see rows 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 11. User 2 might see rows 2, 4, 6, 9, and so on. So same data source, but completely different view of the data, and therefore any visualizations built on that data. Power BI is real time. That means that if there is a change to the data while you are viewing a visualization, you do a simple refresh and your visualization now reflects that change to the data. So that also is very powerful when we compare it to exporting data, taking it into Excel. It is then all we can do is work on the data as of the time that we did the export. Any subsequent changes don't show. What all of these things together do is bridge the gap between data and decisions. So we go from this chap here, who is really quite confused about what he should do based on that data that he's been looking at. Using Power BI, he knows exactly which way is the best way that he should go. So all up, what do we have in Power BI? Well, we do have a lot of different bits and pieces, and I'm now going to give you a quick overview of what those bits and pieces are. The first is the Power BI service, and that is a Microsoft hosted cloud service that allows you to view those visualizations, charts, dashboards, and report. It also allows you to view them on mobile apps and obviously desktops and laptops, and we can view whether we're using Windows, Apple iOS, or Android. The second part, and possibly the most important part, is Power BI Desktop, and that is a free self-service data analysis and report design tool that you install on a Windows computer. So BI Desktop will only work on Windows. BI Desktop allows you to connect to the data, transform and model the data, create charts and graphs, create reports and dashboards that are collections of charts, and share reports with other people. The third part is Power BI Pro, which is an upgrade from Power BI Desktop, costs about $10 per user per month, and that gives us some additional functionality. Then we have another upgrade, Power BI Premium, and that allows you to share those reports even more easily, share them with people who themselves do not use Power BI. However, Power BI Premium does come at a premium price. I've seen that that is about $5,000 per organization per month. So it's really talking about the corporate landscape who need to do a lot of report work with people outside of their organization. We have Power BI Report Server. That is an on-premise report server, which is useful if you can't use cloud or you've got restrictions on your cloud use. And that might be because of data volume, or it might be because the data that you are handling is very sensitive and you don't trust a cloud provider. So you'd rather have everything in-house. Power BI Mobile is a tool that allows us to run those reports on a mobile phone or a tablet. And finally, we have Power BI Embedded. That enables a developer to embed those visualizations into an app or another program, and then allow those to be used by somebody who is not a Power BI user. We also, within Power BI, get image recognition and the voice control that comes with Cortana, Windows voice assistant. And of course, Power BI is easy to get started, as you will see in a moment. If you want third-party endorsement of why you should use Power BI, this is a Gartner Magic Quadrant that's now over 2 years old. And you can see that in February 2018, Microsoft was the leader in the completeness of their vision, and they were almost the leader in the ability to execute. So 2 and a bit years ago, they were the market leader. I'm now going to run a short video which will give you a very brief overview of using Power BI.
This is Power BI Desktop. This is the workspace, and this is where you will create all of your Power BI visualizations. On the top bar, you have got the usual tabs: Home, View, Modeling, and Help. On the right-hand side, you've got 2 sections: the visualizations, which are the various charts that you can add to this dashboard, and the fields, which is where you can add in the fields from your data source. The first step is to get data, and we can bring in data to Power BI from any one of over 100 different data sources. Using the Data tab, you can get to all of your imported data, and typically the raw data will look something like this. On the right-hand side, we see a list of tables that this data source is offering to us, and the fields within those tables. There are some options to format the data within those fields before using them in a visualization. Here we see the 5 tables that we have brought in to Power BI Workspace and on which we are going to base this dashboard. There are relationships between these tables where we have matching fields. You can see those relationships with the lines and the links between the tables. Here I have added the first of the visualizations. I have dragged it from the right-hand side and put it onto the workspace. I'm now going to choose the fields, apply some formatting, and do some analytics. Note the 3 red highlighted areas on the visualization column. I'm now adding a second visualization on the gross profit from the sales that we looked at earlier. The third part of this dashboard is a stacked bar chart, which will show us sales value by state and also the category of the product, so we can say which state is doing best for each of the product categories. So this is giving us the dashboard so far. We've got total sales of $659,000 that gave us a gross profit of $24,000, and then we have the chart showing which state did best, and obviously Pennsylvania is by far and away our best state. The next visualization is a column chart with a line and a clustered column. This is going to be used to show the total sales and gross profit by year for 2017, 2018 and 2019. So this is now that visualization, and we can see the 3 columns and the trend line. The 2019 is not yet complete. This data does not yet have all of the 2019 data in it. And now we've added another chart that is showing sales by month. So this is now the complete dashboard. We've got 2 simple numbers and 3 charts, all coming off the same data and a lot more understandable for mere mortals than that original data table that I showed you a minute or so ago.
Thank you very much for sharing that with us. It was good information on Power BI and what it can do for us, and we will look forward to having the video as part of our presentation when we save the webinar for us.
It's certainly, when you're just running the presentation, it does work.
Lovely. All right. Yeah. Thanks very much, Jill. Now, in relation to Power BI training that's available from CTO, we do have a very good Power BI course for our users who are interested. I'm just going to post in the chat column here the link to the course if anyone would like to see it. And to say, everyone, thank you very much for joining us today for our presentation. We look forward to your questions if you have any, and also wanted to let you know that next week our technology webinar is on Microsoft Dynamics 365, which again will be quite interesting. So again, thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now.